Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the part 2 of my brow tutorial. It's gonna be all about how I fill mine in. If you haven't checked how I shape and groom my eyebrows, make sure you watch my previous video. And let's jump right in. All right, so I like to do my eyebrows last. If it's not the last thing I do, it'll still be like towards the end because as you can see, I tend to get foundation and powder all over them. So the first thing you want to do is remove all of that excess product. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. And also like start brushing them into place. So you have to work a bit less. Already look a little bit less gothy. I also did go for a pretty vampy look. However, usually the other products that I use on my face will kind of help give a little bit more dimension and warmth and color. But I was testing out the NARS palette I mentioned in my haul, and that's a whole other video, which I am working on. So I might add other stuff later, but I'm still obviously not done my makeup, so that's why I look a little cray-cray right now. Alright, so rule of thumb, you want to start at the end of your eyebrow, so from the arch to the outer edge, because that's where it should be naturally more dense, and then filling in the sparse hairs under. Make sure you go back over with a spoolie because it will really help diffuse the color in the product, just to make sure you're not using too much. Next, I kind of outlined the bottom of my brow right at the beginning there, but instead of filling in the whole thing, I'm just using that line and brushing it up and then blending it in so you don't have anything too harsh, but then your eyebrow is really defined. And then just kind of go over everything, make sure it's all filled in. So you see, for me, it's not really that much work, but the difference that it makes is night and day. And I'm not overdrawing either. It's just because if you look up, you know, there's certain areas where there should be hairs, but there isn't because they haven't regrown. So I'm just kind of like connecting the lines. I'm still trying to regrow some areas. Every time I change shapes, that's, you know, it's a whole process, but yeah. Also, then again, like my eyebrows are not the same to start with, but this is the kind of intensity that I like. You know, I really try to keep it natural, but I don't like holes in certain areas, and I want, I guess, the wing of my eyebrow to kind of like mesh with everything. And because there is absolutely no hair there, like not even a little bit, you know, I do have to go a little bit more intense here. But again, like I mentioned, it should be more sparse at the beginning and then a little bit more dense as you go along. I'm just gonna go do my other eyebrow and I will be back. All right, so that is pretty much what they look like once they're filled in. You know, they're not like the most even, but I feel like they're definitely sisters, which is good. You know, your eyebrows should be sisters, you know. It's almost impossible to have twins. That being said, there are a few more steps you could do to really step up your brow game. First thing you can do, which I recommend and I do almost every single time, is to finish off with brow gel. I really like Gimme Brow or by Benefit, or any sort of brow gel that is tinted and have these little fibers, just to enhance the overall look and make sure that they stay in place all day. So let me do this right now. And then you could even, to make them a little bit more sharp and defined, use these sort of pencils or really any kind of concealer and go under and over. I personally don't find it super necessary. So I tend to skip that step just because it takes me long enough to do my makeup. Like anything that I can skip and I don't feel like makes a huge difference, I don't do. Plus usually I'll have already powdered or I'll have a brow highlight anyways, so it wouldn't even go smoothly. So I guess if you're the kind of person that can do your eyebrows before the rest of your makeup, then yeah, it would probably help. And then you can blend it in with your foundation. But mine are just too thick that even if I'm careful, just powder and makeup galore. I do like sometimes if either I mess up or sometimes there's a little bit of redness over. Sometimes after I fill them in, I do realize that there's extra grooming to do just because this is the shape that I would want to get naturally. So if there's any kind of stray hairs beyond what I filled in, then I can go over. Sometimes it's best to leave extra stray hairs and then if you don't need them, remove them, because sometimes you'll notice that, oh, I'm trying to regrow that hair because it should be there. This is the same trick that I do on blemishes that still show through after color correcting, concealing, foundation, powder, the whole thing. I just like to use a high coverage mineral foundation. This is just the True Match by L'Oreal. And then I use a small concealer brush. Let me show you what I do on zits too. 2 for 1. So I have this one that's peaking, so I'll just dot on it. Sometimes you realize that even after powdering, it's still showing through. It's not a whole lot you can do about it, but this is something you can do. And then I just kind of go over with the beauty blender to make sure it doesn't look super powdery and, you know, super different than the rest of my face. Yeah, there's a few other areas I could do this in, but that's just a quick tip that I don't think I've mentioned before. So with the same product and tool, sometimes I'll kind of do that same concept as the concealer, just around the brow. Also, sometimes if you goof while you're filling them in and you get brown on your skin, and even after removing it, then there's like redness or still some discoloration, or you removed your foundation in that spot. Just kind of draw around that. I also have, I don't know if you can tell, I have this like super intense freckle that's right above there, and it always looks like I fucked up my eyebrows, but it's just a very pigmented freckle, so I try to conceal that. So you see, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's just a little bit more clean. Again, in this context, I've not done my makeup, so I haven't put highlight or anything like that. But once you're happy with them, that's all that matters. I don't know that I'll ever be 100% happy with them. Eyebrows is one of my biggest pet peeves, and I always feel bad because it's like, I know that mine aren't perfect, but when I see really bad eyebrows, it's just, nothing makes me cringe as hard, I think. Like, I don't think I have horrible eyebrows, so it's like, okay, and I keep striving to like get them as good as they can be. Notice there's still some intense parts. Spoolie is key to diffuse the color and make it look nice. I'm probably still gonna tweak them, but it's not important for this video. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of quick eyebrow 101 according to Val. Again, you know, there's no exact science, there's no right or wrong way to do it. These are just my suggestions or what I do. All right, so that's it for this video. If you enjoyed these basic how-to videos, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, just click the button below. I mean, it's free and it's fun. What more can you ask for? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.